we already started on. That's what this is called the revitalization of. The thing is, they actually hide our story. They've taken our story from us. Everything it is that is supposed to be us as a people has been taken from us. It has been manipulated. It has been manipulated and taken away and added to where they now begin to say that everything it is that they consider to be great is made by them and not us. So we already did this. It was a time just like right now. We're in the trenches. I did a video earlier today talking about how we're in the trenches and where love is created and can be the strongest form when it's made through the trenches, or what we call the trenches when you're in the penitentiary. And when you got two people that make it not just through the penitentiary, but trials and tribulations of life out here in society, family members passing away, just hard times on life and period, what happens is when these two people help each other through that thing, their bonds can become stronger than like relatives than blood. You know what I mean? And that's what happened at Black Wall Street. They, through the trials and tribulations, they made it. They fought to be each other. They fought through the dogs. They fought through the water hoses and being hung, different things of that nature to be where they were. And this is what the situation is. I ain't let them hate you, Queen. How you doing? Good evening. And this is what the situation was with that. And this was Black Wall Street. And it was where we as a people stuck together and did everything together. Will Nesby, how you doing, King? They did everything together. And you need to put your identification with the paperwork that you have. You have 2 non-disclosures over there. You need to put your identification on one and sign it. The same name that's on your license, wherever you are. And then you need to send that back to me. So now what you have done, I trusted you. So I'm asking you to trust me. So you send that back. So I'm trusting you. So the demonstration is that's going to be your non-disclosure in order not to be able to display the information that's pertaining to Collective Minds LLC that you have. Nobody else has it. You see what I'm saying? You are much appreciated, brother. I'm glad you got your sweater. But this demonstration is what we are and what we need to do. We're in the trenches still again right now. And what we need to do is get ourselves back together. And we need to come in together like they did. Like our brothers and sisters did in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to create one of the greatest educational and economic infrastructures that ever existed. You know, tonight we are here with Beverly Perryman, and I should have put her name up there again. I wonder if I can go through right now while I'm on here and trying to change this. Beverly Perryman is trying to come on. She was on early. We made a connection, so I'm trying to see what's going on. Today we're going to talk about us as a people. Today in Collective Minds LLC is Relationship Wednesdays. As we have days in here, like Malcolm X and many others said, we're not actually. I want to rephrase something Malcolm X said, because our time is different. There was what was I had before that text came through? The situation behind that was we as a people stuck together. And what we have to do is we have to remain that same thing. And Malcolm X and several others said that we are not, one thing I want to rephrase that Malcolm X says, he says, the hardest thing for a black man to do is, he said, we're not outnumbered. What we are is uneducated and unorganized. Now, I do say this, we are unorganized still today. However, CC Alexandra, hey, Queen, how you doing? I see you changed your portrait. So we are uneducated. We are not uneducated. Our education just split out because we're unorganized and we're divided. Now imagine many of us coming together who are educated for the same purpose of us growing together as kings and queens, as revitalizing the village it takes to raise the children. Think about that. Now, I don't know what happened to Miss Perryman, but she was here. I hope everything is okay. She's not even on here. We just went through the processes of getting her on here. I don't know. she's a woman, so you know what I'm saying. She might be getting like super pretty. She might be getting like super pretty right now. You know what I'm saying? To come on here and speak in front of the masses. That might be the situation. That might be it right now. Let me see if I can change this in the process of it being done. Because today we will have hopefully Beverly Perriman. There she is, right here. Let me see if I can bring you in now. As woman, she don't want to change up.
Why are you laughing?
I said, because I know you're a woman, you don't want to put on diamonds and pearls. You gotta get ready. You gotta get ready for hold up.
So you picked me out, huh?
A special guest. Special guest. Perryman. Relationship and sex healer. Right? That's what she is. Y'all don't know that about her. She's part of the collective mindset of she, and I want to bring this in the situation. Now, when you start talking about Black Wall Street was a place where all of us got together, and we did absolutely everything, and we shared everything with one another. We spent our money with us before we went anywhere else. We shared our money with us before we went anywhere else. We had absolutely everything. If you needed a brick mason, it was in Black Wall Street. If you had a therapist, it was in Black Wall Street. A dentist was Black Wall Street. We had our own bus or our taxis, our own grocery stores, movie theaters. We actually had over 600 businesses. Listen, it started with one. And in 10 to 15 years, we grew into over 600 different businesses and ran absolutely everything that was ours. School, you want to go to school to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever it was right here. Jake, what's up, fam? I got to get that six-pack you got. Boy, you got me working out over here. So, this is what we did. So we got to revitalize this again. So right now, we're talking, yes, to our guest right here, who will be guest speaker, which is Beverly Perriman, who's actually a relationship and sex healer. Now, I said counselor at first, and you said, oh, no, don't do that. Then no, I'm a healer. So can you please give the demonstration between sex healer, sex relationship, and sex healer, and sex relationship counselor? What is the difference?
It's just a sophisticated name. I just look at myself as I have incorporated the Chinese use the term kintsugi, which means that they fix broken things, and that's what a healer does. You fix things that are broken. So they use like the pottery when it's broken. They put it together and they put diamonds, they put gold, they fix it up, and it looks better than the original. So that's where my healer term comes in. So
relationship and sexual situations in their relationship, this is all the same thing. The demonstration is what they do is they can come to you and get healed and know how to fix what is broken.
Right.
That advice.
Right. I specialize in affair crisis. I just believe that every affair does not have to end up in divorce or separation, but it's not easy, and not all need to be mended, but for the most part it can be. But you have to have the both willing participant. You both have to be willing.
Okay, I mean, the people, I'm listening to this accent. As you say, what is this accent?
I'm a Caribbean girl. I'm from Grenada, and our country is considered the island of spice. So that's why I use Spice Island Girl. That's my business.
Okay. All right. And you taking things from the Spice Islands of the Caribbean. You combine that with some things over here in the United States of America, and you couple that with the Asian arts to be where you are. Okay. I study some of the parts of sex and relationship. You know what I'm saying? Going all the way back to India to the Kama Sutra. You know what I'm saying? I studied some Michael Wynn, Mantak Chia, different things of that nature. One of the things we talked about before was also something that we need to really get into the organization and privately. We need to get in there and start talking about. We talked about it before. Tantric sex.
Yeah, I just mentioned yeah.
Where actually the energy between two people. People think that it's spiritism and different things of that nature. It's not. We are all. You breathe. Hebrew, Greek, that's Nuah, Nefesh. You know what I'm saying? That's the breath, that's energy and life. And we actually pass these things on, and the Most High, who actually made the relationship, said, guess what? We will become one flesh. And we need to know how to do that, and you deal with that when you're dealing with tantric sex. Now, tonight, talking about
tantric is so powerful that your presence, just walking into a room, has an effect on your partner.
When you learn people feel it.
It's energy.
It's not spookism. It's not spookism. It's actually spirit.
It's energy.
You know. Today we're going to talk about the powers of being a submissive woman and the powers of being a dominant man. These are the powers. And a lot of women say, man, submissive. I wish it's power in being submissive. But before we get to that, I want to talk about what was missed last week. You know, what we missed last week, we was talking about the difference between relationships then with our grandparents, mothers, fathers, different things of that nature, depending upon how old we are. You know, I'm 50. You know, so I'm talking about, when I talk about then, I mean those who was in relationships in like the 60s, the 50s, and the 40s. Right. Those, their relationships were different, and they lasted long. And, man, they stuck together and made and had multiple kids amongst each other. And look, not every man had a complete and whole nother family somewhere else. We stuck together. In the next time, 80s and up, we as a black people have the biggest divorce rate. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you think they stuck together back then as opposed to us just doing nothing? I like you. I want to go to a have a big party and get some presents, but I don't want to go through the sickness and the health, the rich or the poor to death do us.
Well, first of all, they don't have all they didn't have the distraction. You know, most of them back they didn't have television. You didn't get all these distractions that you have now. And when you talk about not having a family, they did the same thing, but they were able to go through it thick and thin. I think they took their vows very serious, till death do us part, okay? Because, like, for me, there's 3 sets of us, okay? And all us siblings got along well. Parents still stayed together. They went through thick and thin. And
now, I don't say nobody done it. I don't say nobody done it, but it was just not like no man could be faithful back then.
But the thing is, they're the distraction, and they were more committed to relationship. Now, as soon as somebody upsets you, you're gone. You move on to the next partner. You know, when that one makes you upset, you move on to the next. They didn't do that. They stuck through it, and I think, like I know, I grew up with my grandparents, and I think they both knew their place in the relationship, in the marriage. This is what you do.
We gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. But the demonstration behind this, the first part is this. Like now in today's times, when we get married, I like you. You got a fat booty. I'm not talking about you. I ain't saying you. So I'm talking about, you know, she has a nice body. She look good. He bow-legged. He drive a Benz or a BMW or a Porsche truck. And we get together, and that's what is compatible meant. I look good in his car. She look good on my arm. And that when we get married, according to our peers, we're going to look good. Our wedding is going to be big. We're going to get dressed nice. We're going to get a lot of gifts. But back then, it was the integrity of. We had spirituality back then. We was really into, like God said, even in my weaknesses, even in my imperfections, God said, this man and woman become one flesh, and we sticking together for richer and poor, for sickness and health, to death do us part.
They did
that. The integrity of you being my woman, the integrity of him being your man. They stuck together and they fought and they made it through
They'll
everything.
tell you it wasn't easy, but they did it.
Say it again. It wasn't
easy,
what?
But they did it. They stuck thick and thin. They did it.
This is what I believe. Tell me what you think about this. Soulmate. I don't believe that I believe that they're soulmates. When two people meet, the energy is so powerful that we could just see each other and we could possibly get married today. And the day we meet and just last forever, never do nothing. I have to go anywhere else for anything and are completely happy with one another, don't have to go anywhere. But I also believe that soulmates are like our grandparents were.
Definitely.
I also believe that, you know what I'm saying, a soulmate can be made soulmates. We can be made into soulmates by fighting and making it through everything that everybody says that we won't do. When we make it through trials and tribulations together, that can create stronger bonds than actually blood relatives. And when you make things as a husband and wife, I seen women, you know what I'm saying? I know one today whose man can't please them sexually. But she don't go nowhere that I know of. That I know of. She don't
exactly.
go nowhere that I know of. Help him do everything. I know men that she's sick, cancer, legs gone, breast gone. He don't care that
he's there.
That those are actually awesome. They were made into soulmates by helping one another through trials and tribulations. What do you think?
I agree. It's the same thing like when you look at different culture. For Indians, for example, their marriage is arranged, right? And they stay together.
Uh-huh.
Even when I was growing up, some of the marriage was arranged. You know, not to the point like in the different other cultures, but they ended up staying together. Just like you said, they become that mate, that lifetime mate. So it
my friend said
that's today.
Get out. That's today. Get out my house, man. Matter of fact, man.
The other thing is today.
I've heard women tell other women, "Shut up talking to me about my dude. Mind your business." I'm talking about back then.
Exactly. Today is too many people in your business. It's too many. You know, like for example, when my daughter got married, her mother-in-law said to her, she'd been married for 40 years. She said to my daughter, "If you have issues with my son, don't tell your girlfriend. You come and talk to me." Me as her mother, I was like, "Oh, I love her mother." You know what I'm saying? But that was powerful, and she's rightfully so. Who destroys your marriage the most or your relationship? Your girlfriends.
Bobby Brown on there, he talking and he saying that this is him and his wife Monica. This is a buddy of mine we went to school with. We come up together, and Bobby visited Africa.
Okay.
He went to go visit Africa. He said, "Man, more better, man, you got to go back. You got to try it." And he went back and visited again. And what I love about Bobby is his wife. You know what I'm saying? He and his wife. When he say, "Let's do something, let's try something," they, like we talking about now, they come together and they try. And down there visited twice, and the third time he said, "More better the next time I go," he said, "I'm moving." I said, "What?" He said, "Man, I'm moving down there." And they moved down there. Today he sends me videos. He calls me 2-3 in the morning, and they are together. They make it through absolutely everything. They don't bring the outside into your relationship.
Yeah.
We have a house when we bring stuff into the house. You know what I'm saying? When you have a bond like this, it's a home. You make it a home. You like you said, we didn't have the distraction of television to where you can get on Atlanta Housewives, and now because you see this so much, you step in your man's face and say, "You's a non-mother factor. You not a factor. Nigga, I don't need you." And this is television. This is geared for us to act like what we see on television.
But back then, women also, they had respect for their husbands, whoever. Today, there's no respect. None.
Television. Hey, the distraction. The distractions and the peer pressure of bringing the outside into your home, and you turn your home into a house. just the living quarters. It's no longer a home. A home is where there's peace. A home is where there's order. A home is where there's placement. We'll get to that. And that was one of the reasons why we said it's hard today, right? Another thing, back then, again, I'm staying with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says that, man, you know, that when a man finds a wife, he's found a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? He talked about this capable wife. Today, we look at what you look like, what you're driving, what I think you're making, and that's it, but we're not
looking what's in the right, not looking at what's inside.
What do you have to say about a helpmeet? And how does this help to heal the relationship when you have a helpmeet?
Because that helpmeet, you work together. It's not materialistic. Everything you build together. It's not you, me. It's us. Everything is about us. And of course, I mean, you're going to have your moments, but the thing is, you work together and you build as a unit.
You attain to where you both win the most valuable player. This is not the sports. This is not the most valuable player when one person get it on the basketball team. This is not the most valuable player when one person get it on the football or the hockey team. This is a marriage. You know what I'm saying? And you both win the most valuable player to the degrees to where this is my woman. When she go out, even though she has a name, guess what people say, man, that's Mo Better woman. When I'm out by myself and I go to a lounge or I go to work and I do whatever it is that I'm doing, people say, you know what I'm saying, that's so-and-so's name. We have our individuals' names, but we live together in our health degrees to when we step outside, people know we off limits. They're not trying to get because they know that, like we said before, soulmates. Exactly. We're together.
Right. And that doesn't take anything away from the woman by saying this is such and such woman or wife. You're identified. Right. That's who she is.
That's his. That's hers. They are one another's. They each other's. Right. That's who they are. And I love the fact, man, to when you can get out and you can be with them. I love people like this. That's a couple. Bobby Brown and his wife Monica. You got my brother, you know what I'm saying? Not my biological brother, but my brother, you know what I'm saying? And Gloria Scott. You got my dude, it's a couple of people I can name right now. But when they step out, people look at them and be like, I want that. That is, listen, man, I was getting ready to leave Miami one time, right? And I had to do this, honest to God, truth. I was dealing with some situations myself. And his brother talked about his wife so powerfully about how he loved her that I cried. I cried. Honest to God, I said, I would that. That was powerful to me. Bobby Brown says things only work for us when we are in total agreement. It's powerful. That's Bobby Brown saying that about him and his wife. And this is what this is what I want people to understand. Communication is key to everything in the world, in the universe.
Yes.
I'm saying, when you turn different colors, you know it's different. If it's o'clock in the afternoon and the sky gets dark and the wind starts blowing, you know it's getting ready to rain. That's the universe talking. The same thing must be done with us, but we have to open.
All right.
We step into the next representative. This is a lot of reasons why we don't last today as well, because of representatives. What you have to say about a representative, that person that comes to you pretending to be everything it is that you are because they studied you, looked at you some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. And I want the team to be everything.
I look at them as a job application, right? When you go to apply for a job, what do? Your best qualities, right? And after your 30 days or your 90 days, that real self comes out. This is who I really am.
You say how many days?
Some jobs to 30, some to 90. Yeah. So,
I'm thinking about that, about 30 days to 90 days, because what we are red flags when this representative comes in. Some people can play real raw, real strong, and real long for a period of time. But for the most part, we see the red flags that we don't question. And because of the potential we see in this person, or the potential that we see in us, or guess what sometimes we just want to say, this is mine. I have somebody. we miss those red flags and it hurts us later on
It's
down the
not
line.
that we miss it. Sometimes we're so infatuated with that person that we overlook that. So that's why it lasts longer. But if we really pay attention, we see it. You can be so just.
How do you deal with the representative? How do you deal with the representative?
I'm the kind of person that at my age right now, I have zero tolerance for a lot of things. So my thing is, in the beginning of the relationship, you have to make that list of your must-have, your non-negotiable would be things that I would definitely not tolerate. I don't smoke. I would never talk to somebody who smokes. I don't drink, but I can tolerate a social drinker. Right? So once you determine all those things, everything else is adaptable. But when you keep crossing the lines of your non-negotiable, it's time to go because that person is not going to change. And the thing is, if you allow things to continue, you lose control. It's like a child, right?
If you allow something to continue, you're actually teaching them how to treat you.
It's like a child, right? If you keep letting that kid keep getting away with things, what they're going to do? Next thing, they have control. And it's hard to change that.
Right.
But people have to set relationship goals.
I use this simple analogy right here. Me and this person in the club, we somewhere, it don't matter where we are. You come past, you step on my shoe and say, excuse me. I say, okay. You come back past, you step on my shoe going back. On that third time, it's like, dude, you didn't mistakenly do this. You did this on purpose. See, what I'm saying is a person does not continuously do something that is a mistake. This is part of their character that they're actually trying to hide from you until they get in with you where they want to be. Then you guess what they had a right to say when you allow this to take place.
How would you do it?
You accepted me like this.
This is how I was when you met me.
Let me ask you a question. In these situations, in the relationships as to how they were back then to where we have now, how do we heal that? How do we like our parents? How do we become like our grandparents? And me and you know what I'm saying? We kind of older, but like today, can the young today make it like our grandparents and them did back then?
It's hard because they're not taught those type of things to begin with, right? Because remember, each generation down has lost that. So you can't, not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult to take them at this point and to mold them in that way. They're kind of like the millenniums now. They out of control. The other thing is that they take too much for granted. When they take being submissive as you controlling them, you telling them what to do. They don't understand what submissive. Okay.
Go ahead.
So they think that this generation think that you're taking something away from them, and they are not the type of people who give and sacrifice. Older person, they made sacrifices.
Everything is for the now. Everything is for the right now. So the thing is, what we need to do, like in collective minds, this is what I always talk about. The collective self. It's about building one another up. It's about adding the value of who you are as an individual. If you add yourself value to the self, I did this analogy with a friend before. We was actually sitting in the car, and I said, I'm about to go stand out here on that little spot right there, right? Like, okay. And I said, throw me your phone. He said, what? I said, throw me your phone. My iPhone, I'm not about to, you know I can pay for it, right? I'm not throwing my phone out there. I said, is your phone valuable? She said, yeah. I said, well, why do you keep throwing your pearls? You're so much more valuable than the phone.
Exactly.
You won't do that to me, but you will throw that to these lanes, right? So my demonstration behind that is this. When we add to the value of who we are, we begin to make better decisions in this thing called life. So to add value to yourself, the whole process of collective mindset is to add value to you by education, knowing who you are, knowing what your place is as a woman, knowing what your place is as a man, and together y'all grow together.
See, too many women now want to play the man's role and still be treated like a woman when you take his role over.
That's like, how you know we was about to step into place?
Oh.
We about to step into place right now. You know what I'm saying? Because women get mad when they hear that. Man, you got a place. You need to stay in your place. And they get mad when they hear that. They don't even understand that through the processes of, and I say this, systematic mental manipulation and mental and emotional warfare that has been placed upon us as a people, they switch our places. They give you jobs, they put you in placements and things of that nature and give you things. I'm not saying, queens, that you don't deserve it. Some of you are genius. Some of you are so powerful that it's pathetic, right? But at the same time, I want you to understand that if you and your man has more degrees than you, he has more certificates than you, and he applies for the same job that you do, they will give it to you before they give it to him, because they want to change the place of provider of the house. So that gives the woman a place to say, I don't need you. And that's incorrect. You know what I'm saying? So we have, when these men have this place, I want you to understand that, guess what? Man got a place too. He has a place. Now, this speech right here about places in a position that we're supposed to play is going to branch off into our next section. But, woman, I don't care how much you make. The man is supposed to be still head of the household, especially if he's leading in the right direction and with the right head. What do you say about that?
Black women is the only women who say I'm strong and I don't need a man, and still saying it. It's not working, but we're still saying it. Right? You don't hear others say that. Right? I mean, and I understand that, we kind of was forced to be in the position. However, we know better, right? And we know why all of these things have occurred through the system. So as you talk about the brainwash, it's how we get rid of that, cure that. Brainwashed.
We have to the myth of black inferiority, find out who we are by studying what the system is actually doing.
But we talk about it. We know why we in the position that we are. We know why we make more money than the black men. We know why the black men are hauled off to jail. We know all these. But yet,
I know every woman does. I think a lot still don't know. They argue with me when I talk about this. I'm a genius. I'm smart.
You ever ask them, how is that working for you? I think black women don't understand. Because, for example, at my job, and until you're around a bunch of white people, you see that they are basically no different than us, except they don't go around and say, I'm strong and I don't need a man. Okay?
That is something that has been imposed upon our women to where they can say, nigga, I don't need you. And like you said, we're the only women that say that. Our culture is the only culture. Exactly. You will never go find a strong, independent Asian woman that says it. You will never go find a strong, independent Indian woman that says it. You will never go find a strong, independent Italian woman that says it. A strong, independent Sicilian woman that says it. You will never go strong, independent Latin or Spanish woman that says that ever. So try to figure out why you say this.
You look at groups. White women, they use the word empowerment group. Black women use strong black woman group. Look at them on Facebook. Strong black woman. How is that working for you? Strong black independent woman. It's not working.
You have a beautiful house. You have a nice job. You know what I'm saying? To where the man has placed you. The system has placed you. I don't care if you have degrees or not. The system allows you to be in this position. You know what I'm saying? You may or you may not have children, but you're at the same time, you're single.
When you come home and you close that door, it's nobody there. Nobody to greet you.
Yeah.
Nobody to talk to you until you go back to work the next day. If you have family member to talk to you, that's all well and good. But that's it. You come home and you're lonely as hell. You talk about strong black women.
Some women okay with being lonely, but I want you to, not lonely, but alone. Some women are cool with being alone, and right now you're working on yourselves to really embrace him when he comes along and to know who he is when he steps in front of you. But many of you, strong, independent black women, are lonely. You're not alone.
You know what I find?
Why? You even chase men away from you with the attitude that you have. From Atlanta Housewives, from Empire, you know what I'm saying? From all these places, you run a man away from you with the attitudes that you have. You are the only culture that says, I am a strong, independent, I don't need my man. You are the only culture that says.
But you know what I've found out, just by doing what I do? A lot of women who says that, they just say because. What happens sometimes if you don't have something long enough, you in your mind, you say, I don't want it. All these women who say, I don't need a man, let the one come along. See what happens.
Now, I want the people listening to understand this as well. We're not talking about the women who have been misused and abused.
They're dumb.
Yeah. He don't even need to be. If he knows what he's doing and he still does this, until he's learned, I don't even think them dudes need to be around. You know what I'm saying? To me, they waste a breath if they're going to continue to demean and degrade the black woman like they do. I'm not talking about the women that have gone through that. I'm talking about you women who have been manipulated by the system to believe I don't need no man. You see what I'm saying? To teach you that, and some of you will even tell a man, I don't need you. I got my own nest. This is where I live. This is where I work. I got my
Yes, they will.
And
I've heard them. I got my car. I got make good money. I can go on vacation. I can do. But when you're going on vacation, you're going alone. You're in a car. You by yourself. Everything you do, you by yourself.
How do you heal? Same situation. I'm going to ask you. How do our sisters heal from that relationship here in Beverly Fair?
Heal from what? The being aloneness or the...
I'm a strong, independent black woman. They don't know that this actually chases men away from the real men. This chases real men away from them. So how do the sisters fix that?
They have to change the mindset and understand that, men are typically not against them. So if they have to change that mindset and be able to say, I am willing to work with the right person. Right? And I mean, it's not easy, especially after you've been through a lot, but everybody is not bad. You can't judge Paul by what Peter did. So you have to heal yourself from that. Get over, come into yourself. And they think the worst thing is for women. Women does that more than men, because a man could move around and has no feelings for you, but women gets into their feelings very easily. But you have to, after a relationship, you have to heal yourself. And that way, when you come into the next relationship, you're not bringing what happened here into that one. It's okay that you discuss it. I could say to you, well, this happened to me, but it's not going to be on to you as though you're the one that have done something to me.
It's something I don't think you understand. I think, as a woman, you might not think that. You said, well, men don't feel like this. And man, let me explain something to you from a man's perspective. I'm a real man. Men, you know what I'm saying? Men of men, street dudes, gangsters, everything. Let me explain something to you. We internally know how powerful a woman is. We know it's inbred in us to feel like 1 Peter it says in the Bible. Deal with her with knowledge, assign her with honor. The feminine one, a weaker vessel, to be assigned with honor. So we still hold you in a perfect state, even in our minds. So we can go out here and do whatever it is we want to do. But when you do something, we be ready to die, commit suicide, go blow up the White House. We want to do anything. We feel. Just deal with it in a different way.
And that stemmed from the little boy, right? Don't cry, get up, dust yourself off, and we get consoled where you get up. So you grew up with that mentality. By the same token,
if we grow into the boys that we were grown to, we grow into the men that we were these boys. We need to learn how to do that. So now we get into this situation right here. A lot of people don't know the power. Women don't know the power of being submissive. And a lot of brothers don't know the power of being dominant. And then we can reverse that. Brothers, you don't know the power of being submissive to your woman. And queens, you don't know the power of being dominant when it's needed to be. Now, we're going to switch this situation. What I mean by that, because when you have a man that is leading in the right way, he's leading in the right direction with the right head, guess what he can do? You remember what God told Abraham? He said to your wife, he said, listen to me. Everybody want a Boaz. Every woman want a Boaz. But guess what Boaz did? He caught a roof that listened to him. He caught a roof that brought him peace. He brought a roof that helped him do everything that he was doing when you Ruth and Boaz. You see what I'm saying? So she, and guess what she was? She was a black woman. She was a black woman. Guess what she did? She understood the power of being submissive. What did that do? See, she went to Boaz first. She said, listen, both her husbands died. So in the law of back then, you can go to the next of kin if you didn't have any children. So he went to the next of kin. He said she went to the next of kin, which was Boaz. And Boaz said, well, no, I got some other people that you can holler at that are still family members. And she went and met some of these people, but guess what? Boaz saw how hard she worked. She wasn't waiting for somebody to come pay all the bills. He saw how industrious she was.
She was patient.
and
she followed instruction.
And she followed. And guess what he said? He said, man, I want to know more about her. That's how Boaz knocked on Ruth, because really, guess what? Ruth was submissive and knocked on Boaz. That's what happened. You see what I'm saying? She was submissive. Boaz's feet was cold. Guess what she did? She went in there and slept on his feet. She ain't want no sex. You got your hat on? You got your coat on, king? You know what I'm saying? Did you eat today? Did you? She was submissive. And he said, man, I'd like to end up marrying her. And guess what now? Ruth and Boaz are talked about all over the world.
The example.
Guess what Boaz did? Boaz. When I talked about a man being submissive, sometimes what I mean is this. He delegated authority to Ruth.
That's what it's supposed to be.
So, I'm a man. I'm a Kevin Hart. I'm with my chest out. I'm saying with my chest out. He didn't do that. He listened to her. Abraham listened to Sarah. You see what I'm saying? He listened to his wife. And if her together, we talked about this earlier, communication is the key in the universe. So if you have open, honest communication, you don't bring the representative along, you don't send your representative, and y'all have this open, honest communication, and you are one another's helpmeet. Queen, he's leading in the right direction with the right head. Be submissive to him. And guess what he would do?
Give you the world. But black women is the only women, again, who thinks that being submissive means that I'm giving up something.
I'm weak.
You're taking something away from me. They don't understand that submissive is a big part of respect and trust. If I'm submissive, that means I trust you wholeheartedly.
Say it again.
If I'm submissive, I trust you wholeheartedly.
And this is something I want the woman to understand. Just like the man will be submissive to you, which means he would delegate authority to you when you know what you're talking about. When y'all communicate and your idea is better than his, but it's for the family, he's going to say, go ahead. Guess what? And he happy, just like it talks about the capable wife. He said, man, that's my wife. My wife did this. She thought of this idea. My girl did this. My girl said this. That's what the gonna do? Man, she's smart. Oh, come here, baby. Show the world that you is, right? The same demonstration with submissive.
I surrender.
Queen, we know who you are. We know how powerful you are. That's why we with you. But guess what the demonstration is? You actually submit in power. Not to his power, you submit in your own power. You say, guess what? I trust you enough to give you some of my power. Y'all don't understand.
They don't. I hear it a lot. They think that I'm giving you. You ain't gonna tell me what to do.
You're right. I'm not. Never know.
Amen. I'm gonna do this. I do this. I do this. Oh, you know? They don't understand. That's one of the easiest ways to chase a man away, besides the attitude.
Again, women, a man is with you because he understands. He don't understand. He understands who you are. He understands the ability and the potential that you have as an individual and what you all can do together. Now, in this open, honest communication, this man is talking to you and showing you how to do certain things, and guess what? He's listening to you when you are showing him how to do things. But you say, hey, what you want to do, baby? This is my idea, and I think this right here. You don't sit and figure this out. You say, well, what you want to do? Do you understand that in your submission, you just gave him power?
Absolutely.
So he does. He knows how to delegate authority. You see what I'm saying? How he continuously loves his wife. You see what I'm saying? Understands that he can trust you and y'all help meets.
Exactly.
This is the difference between sex partners and situationships, help meets, and real relationships. Things that's I'm coming home. What I say, shut up. Don't say nothing to kids. Be seen and not heard. Now, dinner cook? Did you? Yeah. Okay. I want some sex. Going to bed at 9 o'clock. Is jumping on and don't say
that's
that.
A whole different.
That's domineering. That's being a man. You're a dictator. You're not making someone have a deep respect for you. You're making someone hate you and dislike you and don't. When you come home, they don't even like when you come home.
It's true.
Well, let me rephrase that. They don't even like when you come to the house. Because sometimes, guess what, bruh? You can turn a home into a house. You can. Not always talking about the sister. Sometimes the sister can do the same thing by paying attention to her friends. But the men do the same demonstration by listening to your friends or listening to the TV. And then you want to act like who you see on TV. And guess what? You won't be just like them on TV. Your whole life will be written by somebody else. That stuff is written.
Yeah, because I've heard some men say some of the things that he's doing. He's first like, oh man, you do that. I don't do that. So then he gets into his mind, oh, you don't do that, so I'm not going to do that either, you know? And don't realize that he's wrecking his home by listening to his friend. And her. Same thing, vice versa.
So again, healer. How do we help heal the demonstration between understanding or understanding and overstanding? Or overstanding how being submissive is a power.
Through education. Knowledge is power. The thing is, if you learn and you don't teach, then you have that information to yourself, right? Whatever you learn, you should be able to teach. Is everybody going to follow you? No, just like you said about collective minds, right? Just going to grab a few. You can't get everyone. But I think that if people evaluate where they are and have a plan of where I want to go, they would pay attention to teachings.
See, some of these people, like, I always talk about the Bible. That's because I talk about the Bible and the Quran. Actually, theology was one of my majors. So I studied a lot of religions, but I talk about the Bible and the Quran because that's what the predominance of us deal with. And people say that, oh man, the Bible, man, indulge women and disrespect women in it. You've never really read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who says that never really read the Bible. I'm sitting here talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but guess what it talks about? It talks about Sarah, Rachel, and Rebecca. Right. Those were the patriarchs of the patriarchs. Those were the mothers of civilization. You see what I'm saying? You want to talk, who was Zipporah? Can anybody tell me? That was Moses' wife. You see what I'm saying? Who was Deborah? This was a prophetess. You see what I'm saying? We still, right now, we talking about Ruth. What about Esther? Y'all remember her? You know what I'm saying? We continuously go on through this and talk about different things. And Dinah, you know what I'm saying? Miss Milcah, David's wife. So the first, when I was 25 years old, in the process of studying, guess what the first place I ever heard of the name Candace? Now, Candace is a common name today, but what made me go study Ethiopian Kemet, like I really did begin to study, is because people always told me the Bible never talked about black people, that it always degraded and disrespected women. Well, one of the first people that was ever baptized, black that we know of, that's written in the Bible, was an Ethiopian eunuch. He was a woman who actually worked under the queen of Ethiopia. When you talk about King Solomon, this is so powerful for me. I love this stuff right here. This actually come out here and you want to be naked, you want to be nude. We didn't. This is what you want. Is the women that out here selling sex or doing whatever it is, whatever you need. I'm here for the shit. Demonstrate this. If there's dormant, great ornaments that part. Solomon was considered to be the richest in the world. Solomon was trying to get this slave girl that he saw. Oh, she was beautiful. Guess what? Black. Guess what? You don't have enough money for me to get with you. I'm involved with a shepherd boy that I'm like, and I'm in love with, and I will hold my integrity to him. This is sister.
That's like our grandparents, right? He didn't, right? Because they didn't have much, and they didn't have much back then, right? There wasn't about material.
This the king at the time, and she telling the king, no. The two most powerful people in the Bible are that king. Listen, you were king back then. You run and do what you want to do, but he wasn't in the race. King Solomon said, "I want you." The Shulamite maiden. When you look up a Shulam, she was black. Then guess who else he was in love with? He was in love with the queen of Ethiopia, who also said, "I can't have you. I'm okay with it. I don't want somebody that got you got 1,000 wives. You the king, you rich, and why? But you not gonna treat me like I want to be treated." Black women in the Bible.
They didn't want no leftovers.
Now, in the process, when you was talking about education, when I want our women to think about where we're coming from, where they are today, the things that you do today, in the education, I want you to go back and think about where you come from. Because we do not originate with where we are today. This is manufactured by the system.
Of course.
What do you think about the healing process for all this? What do we need to do, Queen?
Oh, like everything else, we have to start coming together as a people. Be the people who we were meant to be. Like our parents, great-grandparents, for those who know that, That's the only way. Otherwise, we're going to keep going further and further apart. We have to have that unity passed down for our children. Otherwise, we'll be lost. We'll continue to be lost.
We as the man, we have to step up and stand.
You have to, but we also have to give you back your power to be a man. You have to step up, and we have to let go and give it back to you.
I ain't say nothing. I was talking and she cut me off, and I had to shut up because I love what she just said. To where when we step up, y'all got to give us our power back. when we try to be in the place that we need to be in, you can't just talk. Oh, don't stand in my face. I don't need you, and don't try to be in a position that you're in a place that was not given to you by the Most High, but a place that was given to you by the system who wants you to be divine.
And also the disrespect. Like, I hear the way some females talk to I wouldn't even say the man, their husbands, and it's appalling. MF this, that, it's crazy. Absolutely no respect. Because if you don't respect your man, you're not going to get that respect back. And then women is the first to complain about what the man do not do. So we have to learn as female to respect our men.
And I'm gonna explain something to you. And I was wrong in certain situations, but the demonstration was this: like, I had women that I was with that was so disrespectful, so negative and terrible in the attitude that I didn't even want to be with them. I had a brand new house that I didn't even own. I was with somebody else where it was like, man, cold, beautiful. Oh my God, I didn't even want to have sex, and I'm a very sexual person. It irritates. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, Queen, just like she just said, when you get a good man that's in a position that's doing everything it is that he's supposed to be able to do, get outside of your brainwash. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get mad when I say that. It's brainwash. Ain't nobody controlling me. Oh, why you ain't no man? Why you talking to your man like you talking to your man? Why don't no man want to be with you? Why do they come through, blow through, but then be gone? Ask yourself those questions. Sometimes we have to sit down and do a self-evaluation. We have to first acknowledge that something is wrong. There is an issue. There is a problem. Something needs to be, what you say? You a healer. Something needs to be what?
Healed. Because
healed. Something needs to be fixed.
And then once you fix it, get it better than it was.
You know, I had some females that didn't want, like, no, I can't, I'm good, I'm just, and that's what I asked. I said, could you do me a favor? I said, what? I said, I'm not trying to argue with you to be with you. I'm not trying to argue and fight and find a way to get back in. You said, no, I'm cool with that. But can you tell me what it is about me that you didn't like? This is for me. This is the better me. It needs to be better.
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You see, me, what is it? What did I do? It's not to get back with you. You said, no, I'm good with that. But I'm going to fix me if something is wrong with me. So this whole process, you said the process of healing is we need to find out
we are.
We need to reestablish those relationships that we had with the older men and women. Not the older men and women that still want to be pimps and players. The girl want to be thugs and gangsters. I done had older chicks. Yeah, I'm a thug. I used to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay. I want to take my drink back. You know what I'm saying? Like, real man don't want to hear that. You know, we try to be people that we are not. So again, we need to go and talk to those elders to bring that relationship back between the elders and the young so we can understand where we work. So we can understand it can be done so we can, the healer,
right,
Queen Beverly is to come back together.
And the other thing, these men nowadays, they need to get themselves back to the place where they are men. I hear men, I'm not, before you as a man could correct a child and you see in the street doing something wrong, I hear men say, oh no, because they're afraid of them. Get yourself back and do your job as a man.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. You know what I'm saying? This is what I push out and what I try to do. And a lot of people know me. A lot of people know me from my past. I carried nicknames like Doc and Rambo before Mo Better. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about them people, this is who I was. So in the situation today, being the man's man, I express my emotions. I express how I feel. I talk about things openly because I want us to understand that guess what? You still a man. You can express how you feel and still be the you are. And it even makes the woman, you know what I'm saying, want to look at you even more and ask you for help even more. So guess what happened as you grow together? We don't have to be man and woman. We don't never have to have sex. We don't never have to be together, but we can be friends. And this is what it was when we was coming up. When we remember we had streets, not blocks. Remember that? Remember we had homes and not houses. Mm-hmm. Remember when we had communities and not hoods?
Exactly.
When
everybody
we
look
grow
out for each other
and we educate ourselves, this is what we bring back. Now the thing is, now you know, what will you do about it?
We got it. You know, we, like I said, we have to do like the Jews do. You know, what do? The kids may go to public school, but when they come back after school, they go to the establishment and they learn about the culture. Right? They teach them.
Exactly.
We need to do the same thing. Whether you use a school or church building, wherever, we have to be able to teach our young people. Otherwise, they will continue on the path that they are. Lack of respect, lack of commitment, disrespectful.
And we can't just teach them. We have to live by the example. We
have to be the example. You know, because the thing is, we complain about them, but how do you complain about people if you're not willing to fix them?
How can you complain about people doing what they're doing?
That's the other thing too. You're doing what they're doing.
The saying was, "You better do as I say, not as I do." No, I don't care.
That worked for us, not this generation. Yeah. You can't tell me to do as I say, not as I do. We have to be example for this generation.
Right. Now, I want to ask anybody before we get ready to go out. Would anybody like to ask any form of question to Beverly, the relationship and sex healer? Would anybody like to ask me any questions? You can ask whatever it is that you want to, and to the best of our abilities, we'll answer it. I'm gonna wait for a second because there's a time lapse. You know. Well, until then, and if anything comes up, Queen Beverly Perryman, sex healer, relationship and sex healer. I keep trying to say that first, but relationship and sex healer, because I'm trying to put the most in, even though the word sex and relationship healer that go, I want to put relationship and sex healer. I want to put what matters the most first. Relationship.
Right. I said relationship because you know everything starts with relationship, right? Yeah.
Right. The relationship and sex healer. I like to ask her any. If not, okay. Well, listen. Guess what? They can look on her page and they can find you at
SpiceIslandGirl.com.
See, she like, well, American man, like what y'all got to say? I gotta see. You know what I'm saying? I believe this is what I believe also as we get ready to log out. I want queens. I always talk about how powerful you are, and I want you to understand how powerful you are to the degrees to where guess what happens. If you want this man to step up yourself, and you will make him step up. Through the course of history, I find this out. That a man that really wants to be a part of your life would do anything that is necessary to be a part of your life. This man, he'd get out the game, drug game when he's making hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. He'd get out to be with you.
Exactly.
If he really in your life. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Even like
she said.
Even like look at what Adam say to God. The woman that you gave me made me do it, right?
Yeah.
He said the woman you gave me.
Man, she came in with God said not to eat. God said this. He was like, man, look at her though.
Yeah. And then he came back and what he blamed, you gave her to me. That caused me to do what I did. I said because you gave me her. Right?
Yeah. And Cece Alexandra says that American men women are different. She said she noticed because her dad is from Antigua.
She's
you know what I'm saying? But we, as the black man, have been groomed to be as we are. And see, I'm gonna say this before we get out of here. Every so many years, every 10 to 15 years, she asked, is there a real difference between the men from another country and American men, black men?
Definitely.
This is what she got to address.
Yes,
you.
there is. And
what is it? Explain.
It's culture. But one thing that I find though is men from down south have similar attributes as Caribbean men.
That culture that treat the woman like a lady.
Exactly. And I'm not going to say there's some American men that treat women. But you know what? The difference is too also is that we always treat other people better. Other culture, right? Because I find like I rarely date Caribbean men, right? Whereas American men love to date Caribbean women. So it's like we treat others better than we treat our own.
But it's still us as people of color.
But in essence, we are so divided that we don't see that, because when I came to America, I had the hardest time ever because Black Americans did not like we foreigners, as they would put it, We had a hard way to go. And it was to my surprise because we're skin the same color, we bleed the same, but it's a difference.
But see, I believe this. You came over here with your culture. You came over here not easy. You came over here with the prospect of, if I'm going to be in a relationship, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have a husband. And over here, it's like, man, I got this, I got that. You should be with me. And because you didn't do that, oh, man, she's foreign, she act funny, she conceited. No, she's a lady, she's a woman.
Yeah, that's a little different in that aspect. And the other thing is, though, that the difference with Caribbean women that I've noticed is that we have learned to basically cater to our man because that's what we see. My grandparents used to fix my grandfather. I grew up with my grandparents, so I always going to say that. Cook the dinner, fix his plate, bring it to the table for him. Pick it up.
What?
Pick it up and put it in the sink. American mom was like, I work just like you did. Go fix here. And that's what I used to hear. So that is like a lot of difference. Like I remember the first time I dated an American man and I did that, he was like into a shock. Didn't even know how to appreciate that. You do that? We're shocked. Because they used to hear at MF, you go do this, you go do that. We don't do that.
Will Nesby says this. King Will Nesby says this. And please understand, people who are not actually members of Collective Minds LLC, we are all mandated to call every black man king. We are all mandated to call every black woman queen. So this is not something that people just call me. This is something that we call one another to implement and bring back the value of ourselves. So King Will Nesby says, some black women, listen to this is powerful. Some black women expect black men to treat them bad. So when a black man who steps up, he already has to dig himself out of a hole. I've been through that. I've actually been with women who, I've been with somebody who actually was like, you don't love me unless you discipline me physically. She didn't ever say it while we was together. But after we went through what we went through when we separated, she did. She she wanted to go to work with boot prints on her and big glasses from black eye. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Her reputation in the street, I'll fight, I can do this and I can do that. She like, ooh, he gonna really whoop me. And I did. And it actually pushed me away. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be there.
Right.
I had no house that I didn't want to go in. You know what I'm saying? Will Nesby said he has also been through that. I had a female one time, we playing, I'm trying to kiss her, right? This is young. I'm young now. And I push her, I'm like, yo, turn around. Oh, head hit the wall, right? Oh, she come off. I'm trying to say I'm sorry. She looked at me like, come on, get it now. Let's go in the basement. I was like, wow. Wow.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of women who like to believe that unless they're not abused, they're not loved. Psychological.
No, see, Alexandra says, I mean, to where the abnormal will become the normal. To where they can start looking for, this is what love means. My mother see this man, this dude, or my dad whoop her to death. So, and she stays and continues to cook him breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and do this and do that. So, this is what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? That's something powerful to be reversed, and for a real man to step in that, and also for a real woman to step into a man that accepts the abnormal as the normal is powerful. We need time, like you said, healer, to where when we separate, we need time to heal as opposed to just jumping into the next relationship that we would situationship.
Right, because you have to figure out what happened in my last relationship. Why didn't it last? Why certain things occur? You know, you have to go through those steps.
Yeah, and a lot of us don't. We just jump to the next. Alexandria says, you are right, Beverly. I was taught to serve too. How a woman should be by my dad. I get it. So a lot of people don't understand this. Understand this. Where did we as African Americans first go to through the processes of slavery? We went down south. They took us down south. But guess what took place down south? All of us coming from the motherland down south, one of the things we did is one of the articles in the story that's getting ready to come out in Real Life with Mo Better, the magazine. I'm talking about how right off the ship, when we here and we seeing certain things go on, we helping each other through trials and tribulations and hardships and slavery, getting beat and all kinds of things, right? But what helped us was the older ones taught us stories. They told us stories about how it was in Africa, how it was in Antigua, how it was in Mesopotamia, how it was in Grenada. How it was in Grenada. They was talking, this is how it is at home. This is what we do at home. So they helped and they catered to each other, which is now, guess what you have? You have a thing now that's called Southern hospitality, to where you have to help one another. And a lot of people don't understand that Southern hospitality didn't just start in the South. It started at home in Africa and was actually a law in the Bible. Okay. You have to show hospitality to whoever walked past you.
Right. It's kind of like when I was growing up, my grandma used to cook big pots of food in case somebody came by. No, nobody's coming by, but just in case. And if no,
you could be, you could be down. They cook your collard greens, cornbread, eggs in the morning. You right? Hey, hey, come in.
And if nobody came by, we were supposed to bring it to the neighbors.
Will Nesby, back to the situation with him, he says that he had a girl that broke up with him because he treated her too nice. I've seen that, and I think I've experienced that.
That's crazy.
Oh, this is Queen Ursula Zayden now. She's actually from South Africa. And she's talking about right now, she went all the way back home. She started speaking to me in another language. She said, Ubuntu is what the Zulu people call it, on how a woman caters to the man. But see, this was all the way around the board. This is all that we taught through Africa, to where, guess what? The Caucasian woman actually learned this from us when we came over here. In the magazine, the article is getting ready to come out, www.inreallifewithmobetter.com. Y'all can look it up and see that I got an article in there that's talking about how now everything that's over here in the United States and around the world actually originated with us as Black people. So the hospitality, the social systems, the economics, the educational processes, everything. And what we as a people have to do is go get that back. And again, what I'm talking about is Ursula Zayden now is actually from South Africa, born and raised over here, visiting in America. I'm telling you, what it's called. I think her grandmother. I think she said her grandmother is actually a Zulu.
Okay.
So he's learning ancient culture. You know what I'm saying, from Africa for real. And what she calls is a Ubuntu. I don't know if I'm saying it right. She like one the other. But yes, everything came from us. So listen, any more questions before we get ready to get out of here? Again, the processes is this, like Queen Beverly myself says. She said her mom is not her grandmom, but her mom is Zulu. And because anybody see the movie Shaka Zulu? And I understand that the Zulu tribe is actually one of the only tribes that was not actually conquered by the white man. Now, did they catch some Zulu warriors off on the side when they was taking other people back? Yes, but the Zulu tribe has actually never been conquered. And when they had the rumble in the jungle, thank you, Will Nesby says this was a great meeting. And when we get ready to start doing this completely and strictly inside of Collective Minds LLC, though. This is what I've been inspired to do because we have to bring this back to the organization. And again, the Rumble in the Jungle with Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, the military actually had to go threaten and hold the Zulu tribes hostage so that they would not come across the border, because the Zulu tribe was still killing white men for what they did in Africa, period. Even though they're not conquered, they said, man, these are still my people, this is still our land, and they was killing them. So, look, we get ready to get out of here. Queen Beverly Berryman, relationship and sex healer, would you like to say anything?
Thank you for having me, and thank the listeners. Hopefully we can do that again.
I forgot, you had a website, and you can get... What all the things that you have? You have what?
I designed these underwears that's alternative to thongs. They go under your cheek and not the dental floss. They're more comfortable and sanitary.
Hold up, what?
They're more sanitary than the thongs.
I heard that.
Well, thongs are dental floss.
I heard some good floss, bro.
I said they're not dental floss.
Now what do they do again?
They're more sanitary than the thongs because they don't go between the leg up and down. Thongs are unsanitary because you wear them all day, you go to the bathroom and it rushes up and down. It's yeast infection. Thongs are not drawers that you should wear every day for a long period of time. Thongs are bedroom drawers.
And yours do what?
They go under your cheeks, under your butt, so there's nothing up in the middle. Okay.
So it just goes through the front.
To the front and around the legs.
And then, so it's okay.
It's similar to your jockstrap.
And these are underwear. These are panties.
They don't look like you guys on.
Okay.
They're sexy.
Huh? You have.
I'm sorry?
What else do you have?
I do swimwear, but this is not time for swimwear right now. But I do a lot of swimwear.
You got games too. You was telling me about a game, right?
Bingo night, X-rated bingo. Listen. I go all the way.
So how do you do that? Can people buy the game, or do they just call you and
we
play
do
it?
A Zoom bingo night, adult bingo night. I have a special right now until the 15th. It's $8 because you win prizes. So I have to get the prize and you got to mail to you.
Hold up. Now usually, Will Nesby like, let's play right now. He like,
Can I put the link on your site?
So hold up. Now I'm thinking like this bingo. Like, is this on Zoom?
It's on Zoom.
So people get naked?
No.
Okay, that's what.
Okay, so no, it's a bingo game that I have. When you register, I send you a board. It's all X-rated words, adult content.
Oh,
It's not numbers; it's adult words.
okay.
And so when after you register, just
they're coming out. It's a bingo game. Hey, she like invite us.
Okay, can I post it on your collective mind?
You can go in, like the board. You don't have to, but we gonna find a way that you can do it so we can go in there and we can make this happen.
No, what?
But it's adult.
Yeah.
And you give prizes.
You win prizes. The winner. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look. This is Spice, the Island
Spice Island Girl.
Spice Island Girls. You please forgive me. You and they now blame it's for these different countries. No problems. So you got the underwear that you need to put up in there so we can see and understand what it is, and then you have a bingo game that you can invite.
Yeah, the next one is actually on the 22nd.
Will Nesby like I'm going. So, you got a bingo game that people can get into, they win prizes from, and you actually patent underwear that only you think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
The relationship and sex healer to where you can call her when you are having issues in your relationship. Man or woman. Yeah, I don't think some of these women want their men calling you.
You'd be surprised.
Exactly.
Right.
Hey, CC Alexander right now says she wants a swimsuit now.
Are you going swimming? Okay.
Man, she gonna do what she wants to do.
Really? You're brave, girl. You're brave, girl. You're brave. That's why you got that name. You're brave.
Look, we get ready to get out of here. I want to thank Beverly Perryman, the relationship and sex healer, for starting on with us and being a host today and speaking. And I want to thank all of you for showing up. Hey, look, I love y'all. Take care. It's your boy Mo Better in real life. Copy.